much for both of you for speaking on that. I know it's a very hard topic to talk about. Like I said, I've seen it firsthand with my daughter and my best friend. And my daughter, thank goodness, it's only been 3 years, and she's moving forward. My best friend, it's been 19 years, and she's just now divorced. I went to court with her last week, and moving forward. So no matter where you are in that cycle, no, it's not the end, and you can move forward. So just reach out for help. There's lots of local organizations and agencies that can help you with that. So thank you for talking about that, you guys. I know especially for Shannon, because it's hard when you're when it's your personal story. So thank you for having the courage to come up here and do that. All right, so next we are going to have Avery Robinson, Your Voice Matters. Come on up and talk. Yes? Oh, Arvee, sorry.
Thank you.
My apologies.
Sorry. All right, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
All right, one more time, and this time say yes, it is. Good morning, everyone. Yes, it is. How are you today?
Great.
Touch your hearts and say, I am blessed. How are you? I am blessed. Let's put it all together. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Yes, it is. How are you today? I am blessed, and I too am truly blessed to be here with you today. How many of you women sometimes feel like you don't have a voice? Great, nobody. All right. How many of you women really have a voice and your voice matters? Yes. Well, that's what I'm here today to talk to you about. So for the next 30 minutes, I'm going to share with you that your voice matters and exactly how much it does matter. Is that cool, or is that cool to say? That's cool. Awesome. All right, but first I want to make sure you're ready to have some fun. I know we had some tough topics, but are you ready to have some fun? Say yes?
Yes.
Awesome. I can't hear you. Say yes?
Yes.
Let's get them out there to come in here. So say yes.
Yes.
Awesome. Tell them they're missing out. All right, so I too just want to take a moment and thank you for being here. And thank you for coming out to this wonderful event, second annual. That is awesome. Congratulations to the Glendora Chamber, which I just became a member of. How cool is that? Pretty cool. Awesome. So you'll see a lot more of me. All right, so before I share with you why your voice matters and how it matters, would it be okay if I just shared a little bit about myself? Would that be okay with you? Great, thank you. Because you see, actually I didn't give my introduction, but I'm a master speaker trainer, international speaker and author, and I didn't set out to be a master speaker trainer. In other words, I teach people in public speaking. I specialize in teaching business owners how to use public speaking to grow their business and get a flood of clients. But I didn't set out to do that. As a matter of fact, my degree is in information systems. I'm half geek. Any geekies with me today? A few? Thank you. And so I was hired out of college by a company by the name of Deloitte Haskins & Sells, one of the big 8 CPA firms, international firms. And my job was to set up financial accounting systems and teach business owners how to automate their accounting, their payroll and inventory. Now, it might not seem like a big deal right now because we have QuickBooks and all kinds of other tools. But back in the 80s, we didn't have any of that. And so this is when microcomputers first showed up on the scene, and the first system I set up was a dual floppy. Anybody remember those, dual floppies? Absolutely. So it was a revolutionary time. And so my boss came to me and he said, Arvee, I want you to go out there and teach people, tell people that we have a service. And I thought to myself, piece of cake. I took one speech class in college. I was good to go. I knew everything there was to know about public speaking, or so I thought. Well, I went out there in the world and nothing, no clients, nothing. And I knew that if I didn't do something, that I could lose this cushy job downtown LA, right? But I didn't know what I was doing wrong. Have you ever been in that situation where something is wrong and you don't know what it is? You can't put your finger on it? Anybody like that? Anybody do that? That's where I was. Thank you. That's where I was. But I knew that I had to do something, but I didn't know what it was. And then all of a sudden, one day, something happened just like that. Everybody go like that. It really sounds cool when we do it together. So on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. No, that sounds great. Let's do it one more time. 1, 2, 3. Then, I can do that all day, but I won't. So just like that, this woman comes up to me, she looks me square in the eye and she says, honey, I hate to tell you this. Now let me ask you, if someone came up to you and said that to you, what do you think's coming? Right, bad news. Nothing good was coming out of her mouth. I knew that much, but I was brave and I braced myself and I said, what is it? And she says, honey, do you know that after every sentence you say, okay? And I just looked at her and the only thing I could think of saying was, okay. Okay. But I got it like that I was the problem. That people could not hear my message through my okays. And I knew that I had to do something because I didn't want that to happen to me again. So I was going to master this thing called public speaking. So I went to the library. I checked out everything I could find. I went to seminars, anything that had the word communication in it, I went. I hired mentors, I hired coaches, I even joined Toastmasters. I did everything there was that I could do to master it. And the most amazing thing happened. I would go out and speak. Once I learned the skills, I would go out and speak. I'd go blah, 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 do it with me, blah, 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 blah. Ooh, doesn't that sound good on the microphone? I could do that all day too. Oh wait, we gotta do one of these. Right? So just like that. You know, so blah, 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 poof, clients, just like that. And so anytime I needed clients, I would just go out and go blah, 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 poof, and I'd get clients. And so then my colleagues wouldn't know what I was doing because I had a full practice, and then I hired people, and you know, everything was really great. So they wouldn't know what I was doing. And so I started teaching them because the best way to learn something is to teach it. So I started teaching them. Then that got the attention of the big boss, you know, the one in the corner office. How many recovering corporate people do we have with us today? All right, you. So what happens when that boss calls you into his office? What happens? Nothing good's coming out of his mouth either. But I was brave and I went into his office. He said, Arvee, I hear what you're doing. And I'm like waiting for the shoe to drop, and he says, and I like it. As a matter of fact, I want you to go on a regional basis and teach our other consultants and CPAs on a regional basis how they can use speaking to grow their practices as well. So I did that. So I traveled around the country. I still did my systems work during the day. I was driving my BMW. Life was great. And then all of a sudden, once again, something happened that changed my life again. And this time it changed everyone's life, and that was 9/11. And when 9/11 hit, it was like a wake-up call for me, for the world. And as I sat there and looked at my computer screen of what was happening, I realized in that moment that I no longer was making a difference. That there was nothing that I could do that my staff couldn't do better, cheaper, and faster. That I had become a middle manager. And I was at the very top, senior manager. But I no longer was making a difference. How many of you in this room really want to make a difference all the time? Not just once in a while, but all the time. You really want to make a difference. You really want to make an impact. And that's where I was, no longer making that impact. So I knew it was time to do something else. But I didn't know what to do. This was my degree. It was a 23-year career. I didn't know what to do. So I did what any smart girl would do. I prayed about it. And it wasn't long before God gave me the answer. Ooh, there that is again. I love this microphone. Just like God gave me the answer. Public speaking. And not just telling people or teaching them how to walk and talk, but actually teaching them how to use it, how to embrace it as a marketing strategy so they can do what they love to do or what God has you to do and get more clients doing it. How cool is that? Say, that's cool. Awesome. So 13 years ago, the end of October, I left corporate America and started my own entrepreneurial training company in which I have trained over 5,000 business owners like yourself to become better speakers. I've given over 3,500 speeches all over the world, and I've put on about 500 to 700 live events. So I'm here to teach you that your voice matters this morning. So what I would like to do, we'll give you a little something to write on. So just pass these back. What we're going to do is we're going to spell out the word matters. Matters. Because your words do matter. Now the M, just take some, pass a few back there. Matters, right? The M stands for message. The M stands for message. Each and every one of you have a message to share that only you can share to people that can only hear it from you. Amen? Let me say that again. Each and every one of you has a message. You have a message. You have a message that only you can share. to people that can only hear it from you. I can't deliver your message. You have to deliver it. Now, I used to think that if you couldn't deliver that message could be taken away from you and given to somebody else that can deliver it. And then one day I'm in church and the priest said this. He said, God has given you gifts. Each and every one of you get you personal, unique gifts. And if you don't use those gifts, they will be unused for all eternity. And I thought at that moment, that's it. That's the same with your message. If you don't get your message out there, then it'll be undelivered for all eternity. And that message is a message that can save somebody's life or save somebody's business. And by you not being able to deliver it, you are continuing their suffering. That's how important your message is. That's how important your voice is. All right, the A. The A stands for audience. The A stands for audience. Audiences have changed over the years. I don't know if you've done some speaking in the past or not, or maybe some training in the past, but speaking, just like social media, has changed. It has evolved. It has grown. Why? Because you as an audience have evolved. So, how have they changed? Back in the 70s, and some of you maybe remember this, we used to have to pay to hear a lecture. A lecture by a politician, a lecture by a poet, it didn't matter. We would pay oftentimes to be bored. Anybody remember those days? Yes, we would, right. And then it changed. In the 80s it changed. And audiences said, we don't want to be bored. We want more of a presentation. And so then we would see speakers step out on stage as if they were Shakespearean actors and be bigger and bolder and run all over the stage. Anybody remember that? And then audiences said, we don't want that anymore in the 90s. We want a conversation. We just want the speaker to have a conversation with us. So we started to hear terms like speak from the heart. Anybody hear that? Remember that? Speak from the heart. Well, now today, audiences want an experience. They want to be part of your presentation. Have you been a part of my presentation already this morning? Yes. Say yes? Yes. Yes, you have been. They want an experience. But let me share with you where public speaking is going. Because that's all I do. I don't have a network marketing company on the side. I don't sell real estate in my spare time. All I do is what I teach. All I do is speak. All I do is teach speaking, and that's it. I coach clients, I put on events, live events, and that's all I do. So let me share with you where it's going, because not only do I see it, but I set the trend myself, and that is naked authenticity. Naked authenticity, what does that mean? It means real. Audiences want you to be real now. They want to know who you are. They don't want you to be masked. They don't want politically correct. Is that true or true? Right? That's where it's going. We're tired of being politically correct. We want to know who you are and what you stand for and what your beliefs are, so we can make a decision whether or not we want to do business with you, whether or not we resonate with you, whether or not your energy is the same as our energy, right? You won't please everybody. Not everybody will like you, and that's okay, but if you're yourself, then the true people that will like you will love you for who you are and who you stand for. I'm a woman of faith, and I always say that on stage. I'm not preaching to you. If you're not, that's okay with me. But I want you to know who I am. And that's what you want to do. I love dogs too. Oh, I'm a dog lover. How many dog lovers is there out there? Oh, in the break time, you could show me your dog pictures. I get thrilled. I just love dogs. I can't be without dogs. I've got 2 boxers now. They're just beautiful dogs. So whatever it is for you, if you like golf, tell people you like golf. Work it into your presentation. So audiences have changed. Now the T stands for target market. Speaking your message, finding your voice and sharing it depends on the audience or in the right target market. So if you're going to talk about abuse, you want to be in front of what? Probably women that have been there, done that. So public speaking works the best to get business when you're in front of your target market. Now, if you want to tell me everybody's your target market, then it's nobody. So if it's everybody, it's nobody. Repeat after me. If it's everybody, it's nobody. It can't be everybody. You've got to pick, because you can't find everybody. But you can find a pool of women. You can find business owners. You can find healthy people. So pick a target market. The next T, we're spelling out, remember, matters. The next T is for tenacity. This works really well when you do it consistently, all right? You don't just find your voice once and then be silent. You've got to find your voice and then use your voice on a consistent basis every single week. Now let's just pretend, how many mathematicians do we have in here? All right, I'm gonna do a little numbers. Is it okay if we do a little numbers? All right, so let's say you spoke once a week to a group of 25 people. How many more people a month would you be in front of? 100, right? Right? 25, 4 times in a month, you're in front of 25 more people than you would have been in front of otherwise. If you want more sales, ladies and gentlemen, you got to get in front of more people, period. That's the only way. Just like visibility. Visibility is the key to selling, and these wonderful, generous vendors and sponsors are becoming visible. But what if you came up here and become even more visible? All right, so now let's just say 100 more people, you did this 10 months out of the year. That's 1,000 more people that know you that didn't know you before. True or true? Right, 1,000. Now, if you got trained and knew how to pull people out like a magnet, let's say you could get 5 leads out of 25. 5 leads out of 25. 5 times 4 is 20. I know you're probably hungry. 5 times 4 is 20. 20 times 10 is 200. That's 200 hot leads. Now it's up to you how you're going to work them and turn them into clients, but that's hot leads. But let's just say you could close 3 of them on average, right? So now 3 times 4 is 12. 12 times 10 is 120. 120 new clients, just like that, just by flapping your jaw. Everybody go like this. Right? Just by flapping your jaw. How cool is that? All right, so that's the T. You got to do it over and over again and use it for leverage. All right? Now the E, let's talk about the E. The E is experience. Your experience. You want to use your experience, no matter what it is, your experience, your knowledge. Know that you have a wealth of knowledge that you bring with you, a wealth of unique gifts, a wealth of skills. Bring those to the speech, bring those to your audience. Experience. Experience. Now, the R is for rapport. You need to learn how to build rapport with your audience. So what are some ways that you can build rapport with your audience? Let me go grab something, just a second. All right, how many of you like money by a show of hands? All right, great. How many of you like chocolate? Great, because my money is in the form of chocolate. When you participate, you'll get some. All right, look at, she's got her hand up already. All right, so what are some ways you can build rapport? Give me a way you can build rapport with your audience.
Give them chocolate.
Give them chocolate.
Give them money. Be friendly.
Be friendly, yes. You see, I do overhand. Years ago, I used to, somebody would be right back there and I would kind of do one of these and kind of warm it up and I would like toss it. And then I learned an important lesson one day. I hit somebody right here in the face. And the lesson is that when you hurt people, they don't buy from you. So, important lesson. Important lesson. All right, so what else? How else do we build rapport?
Relating to them.
Relating to them, yes. What about calling them by name? If you know your audience's name, you can call them by name. People love to hear that. What was yours?
Including them.
Okay. Oops, see, there you go. Sorry about that. I'll have to give you a chocolate just for hitting your back. But it was gentle, right? Because I was underhand instead of... All right. So there's lots of ways that you can build rapport with your audience, but you want to build rapport. One of the ways I did it was through my professional story, right? So you can get to know me a little bit. That's how you build rapport with your audience. So you want to start adding a little bit about yourself. What's appropriate? What's appropriate for that audience and your topic. Now, being up here telling your professional story, this is not a place to do the healing. Right? It's obvious Shannon did the healing out there, probably years before she came up here and shared it. We can tell. All right? So, sharing your story here for the first time, if you're not healed, is not necessarily a good idea for you or your audience. But once you've healed, you've got it down, and you want to come up here and share it. Got it? All right, when I say got it, you say got it, I say good. Got it?
Got it.
Good. Excellent, thank you. All right, so rapport. The next one is S, and the S stands for stories. You want to make sure that you add stories to your presentation. Now there's 4 stories that you need to add to your presentation. First one is your professional story, which I just gave you. The next one is a success story. So let me share a story about Hector. Now Hector was a photographer, very successful, but that wasn't his dream. His dream was to be a sales trainer in the Hispanic market, teaching sales in Spanish. And so he went out there and started speaking without any training, and he just went blah, 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 right? Nothing. And he kept doing it. Now there's no do-overs in public speaking. You get one shot at it, and that's it. One shot. How many shots? One shot. Because you can not only lose money if you don't know what you're doing, but you can ruin your reputation forever. Here's a hint, if anybody ever comes up to you at the end of your talk and says, that was interesting, you know you're in trouble and you better run and go get some training. That's interesting. So let's talk about Hector. Okay, so Hector came to me, got some coaching, some training, and then next time he went out to speak, he went blah, 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 poof, $4,500. And now he has those skills to do over and over and over again. As a matter of fact, what he's doing now is putting on his own live sales seminars. So again, you do it over and learn how to do it once, right? And then do it over and over and over. All right, the third story you need to have is an emotional story. Something that kind of gets the heart open a little bit. Now, it doesn't have to be a sad story. It can be a happy story. It can be a funny story. So there was this little boy one day, and he was in church, and he was looking up at the wall, the black and white pictures. And the minister comes up to him and says, young man, do you know that those are pictures of men who died in the service? And the little boy looks up at the minister and asks, was that the 9 o'clock service or the 10 o'clock service? So emotional stories. The fourth story that you must have is a story with a lesson. A story with a lesson. Now you never share the lesson. You let the audience get the lesson for themselves. You let the audience get the lesson for themselves. So before I share this story with you, I want to do one other thing. Woo! I'm used to a little bit, oh look at it, goes clear over here. So what I'm going to do a little bit later, we don't have time to wait for all this right now, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little giveaway right here from my table. And what this is it's a networking CD set, how to be a networking superstar. So when you go to your chamber luncheons, you can work the room a little bit better. It's a 3-set CD set, and the first set has my formula for how to create a powerful core message. Some people call it elevator speech, and how to turn that into a self-introduction. It's a formula. I just did it at the chamber, the Power Hour last week. How many of you were there? Right? A few of you were there. Awesome. And so it has a formula, and then also a formula for a 5-minute showcase. Sometimes we get a little longer to speak, and then how to work a room with 3 great escapes. This sells on my website for $70. Someone's going to win it today for free. And I have a few over here for $40 if you would like to have one. You can have it as a $30 discount plus no tax, no shipping. So it's a great deal. Now, I'm going to pass these out before I share my last story. Here's what I want you to do. Before I pass them out, hold that for a moment, just a moment. All right, so what is on here is this. I want your name, your email address, and your phone number. There's 3 boxes on here. One box is for a free strategy session. So if you want to know, now that's not free coaching, so don't get confused, but it's a strategy session where if you're serious and you want to know how you can use public speaking to grow your business, then let's talk about it. All right? If you think you're ready for some coaching or take the next step, then let's do a strategy and we'll talk about it. All right? So just click that box. 30-minute strategy session worth $200. So again, this is if you're serious about moving forward with public speaking. The next box is for a live event that's coming up. I have a live event, 3-day event called the $1 Million Speaker Summit It's in Irvine. It's a $997 event. If you check that box today, you can come for free. How cool is that? Wow. Is that a big value? All right, I'm serious. 3 days in Irvine. But don't click it if you don't think you can go. What are the dates? November 17th, 18th, and 19th. November 17th. And vendors, sponsors, you're entitled absolutely as well. So that's my gift to you. God has been good to me, and so I can pay it forward. Now the third box is if you have any organizations that you would like me to come and speak at, please click the last box. And you can click all three if you want. There's no limit. Then what you're going to do is you're going to fold in half, you're going to take off, you're going to keep this part, and the part you fill out, the next break you're going to come over and you're going to put it in my jar there that says register to win. Could you all do that? Just walk over there, talk to me, come and look and see what I have, and then we'll pick a winner. All right, so go ahead and pass those back, and I'm going to share with you my final story. Pass those back. And then would you come up here and you can pass them down the line? Thank you. Perfect. Excellent. All right, so the story with a lesson. Yeah, pass them back quickly, fill them out. If you don't want any of them on there, just keep passing, okay? All right, but I hope that you fill it out and that I can help you to become a powerful speaker and messenger. All right, so the last story is this. A few years ago, I had the great opportunity to go to Egypt, and I spoke on the Nile River. It was awesome, right? So there was a group of us, there was 19 mentors. It was for the Christopher Howard Billionaire Adventure Club. So we were with billionaires and millionaires, and I'm coaching them on public speaking. And there was about 100 people there and 19 mentors, and a small group of us decided that we wanted to stay for the post-trip and go up and see the sunrise on top of Mount Sinai. Now, what is the significance of Mount Sinai? Who can tell me? Mount Sinai. Yes. Yes, it's when where Moses was delivered the 10 Commandments. So we got up 2 o'clock in the morning, we went to the base of St. Catherine's Monastery. Now, St. Catherine's Monastery, the significance of that is that's where the burning bush is. It's not burning anymore, though. It's preserved, it's beautiful. Can you imagine a bush that's like 2,000 years old? I mean, I don't even have houseplants that last 2 months. You know? So this bush is just beautiful. So we get to the base, and then there's thousands of people, 2,000 people go up to Mount Sinai to see the sunrise a day, 2,000 people. So it's very, very crowded, and there's 2 ways to go up Mount Sinai. You can walk 3,750 steps that are cut right through the mountain, it's all rock, or you can ride a camel. So guess which way I went? Camel. I did what any smart girl would do, I rode a camel. And the camel goes on the outside of the mountain. Now remember, it's pitch black. It's like 2 in the morning. The sunrise rises when? Like 5:30, right? So it's a pretty long journey to get up there. And so one of the Bedouins, which are the native cave dwellers, picks me up and he puts me on his camel. Now, how many of you have been on a camel before? Anybody? Awesome. Well, I hadn't. This is my first time. So I get on the camel, and the camel stands up, hind legs first. And so all of a sudden, my entire body went into the ground. And then he stands up, and now I'm 13 feet in the air, holding on for dear life as we go up this mountain. And the other thing my camel started doing halfway up is he started to weave in and out of the trail. And now it's camel after camel after camel. Remember, there's thousands of people that go up there a day to see the sunrise. And the Bedouin starts yelling at him. The Bedouin starts saying, Mahdi, 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 right? And I'm like, well, what's he doing wrong? And I'm like, going to the side of the cliff, and I'm like, whoa, right? Mahdi, Mahdi, Mahdi. So all of a sudden it was quiet. You couldn't hear anything except for me screaming at the top of my lungs, oh my God! And the Bedouin stops, and he looks at me and he says, Madam, the camel knows the way. And I stopped and I looked at him and I said, that's right. It's not the camel's first time, it's my first time. So I relaxed. Of course, I still was white knuckling it, but I relaxed and let the camel lead me up the mountain. And so as we got off the camels, we stood on the stones. It's all big boulders. And I'm standing there in my power pose, just waiting for the sun to rise, just soaking it all in. And all of a sudden, I could see the sun rise. And then the Bedouins, they began to sing in a cappella. It was the most beautiful thing I ever heard. And for that moment in time, I felt like I was closer to God than I've ever been. Physically, mentally, spiritually, everything. Just like that. Now, if I had let fear stop me, then I wouldn't have that feeling. Nor would I have this story to tell. So you've been a great audience. Best audience I've had all day. And remember, if you can't say it, you can't sell it.